The man, the voice, the legend, Chris Denari of the Indianapolis Pacers joins us on a winning note as the Pacers coming off a big win over the Knicks last night, getting to 3-6, which they're slowly getting back there. As I was talking earlier, Chris, about it's a hell of a lot easier to start off 1-6 in the NBA than it is 0-3 and 2-5 in the NFL as the Colts have been. You can certainly, and with their players coming back, see it and get things turned around. And man, they looked really, really good in that win. You just see a difference in the team itself.
Yeah, the last two wins you've had, you've started to have more players. Malcolm Brogdon played for the first time last night after missing 3 games. So we finally saw Brogdon and LeVert together in the backcourt. We saw him 21 times last year, had not seen him this year. And then you throw in the rookie Chris Duarte. That gives you 3 very good playmakers out on the perimeter. And then throw in the fact that Miles Turner hit 7 threes last night, scores 25. Sort of a down night for Sabonis. He only had 10 points. He's been averaging 20. It shows you that when you get your players back and you have the significant depth, you're going to be that much better of a team. And so Rick Carlisle was able to manage his rotations. He really only used 8 players last night. 3 players off the bench, McConnell, Craig, and Batase played very well, the third center. So it was a really good win. They jumped out to an 11-0 lead, led by as many as 15. They never trailed last night. They never trailed against a Knicks team that has been off to a really, really good start. New York's been one of the better offensive teams in the league. They were averaging 115 points per game. And I thought the Pacers defense was as good as it's been all year. They held them to 98. So, it was a good win. You needed that at home because now you go out west. You've got 4 straight, 7 of 8, and 8 of 10 on the road before you come back to a home-heavy December. So these last 2 wins against San Antonio and the Knicks were very important.
And you got T.J. Warren out of the boot. So there's more good news coming that you can see coming down the road, which just has to just continue to give positive vibes.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is that you're getting some positive news. I thought the return of Karis LeVert was huge because it just gives you another playmaker on the floor. He's not shot the ball well, particularly in the last 2 games, but he's a threat. And I use that to be like in a football game. When you have a good running game opens up the passing game. And sometimes you don't even have to gain a lot of yards in the running game, but it's the threat of the run. And I think that's the case for the Pacers is that Karis LeVert gives you one more threat. He can make plays on his own. He's a willing passer. He had 7 assists the other night against San Antonio. So this is a much better team when you've got all your available players. And that's what the Pacers hope to have going forward. The news on Warren is good. He is still weeks away, hopefully not months away. But the fact that they're able to get him out of the boot means that foot is healing much better than they thought originally.
Am I right looking at this 7 out of 8 games on the road?
Yeah, it's 7 of 8, 8 of 10, and then 9 of 10 at home. Now, for me and our broadcast crew, we won't experience that because we are staying. We're doing games still here in Indianapolis for the road games. But yeah, it's just sort of the nature of the schedule. The Pacers always in November, either before or after Thanksgiving, have at least their first West Coast trip, and that's what they have this week. Really, they got a break from the standpoint that they have Portland on Friday, Sacramento on Sunday. Then they have 2 days off, but then they have a tough back-to-back. Denver and Utah are considered 2 of the best teams in the NBA and clearly 2 of the best teams in the West, and you've got to play them on back-to-back nights. So, this will be a good measuring stick for this team. They have not yet won on the road. They had the best road record in the Eastern Conference last year. So, Jim, really, as you look at this, while you want to win every game, if you can win a couple of these on the road in the first 4, that would be really strong.
Pete, a former intern, I know, and maybe an employee of the Pacers back in our days in college, I remember, says, Chris, I've noticed a lot of empty seats for the games. What's going on with attendance? We have a team people should love and support.
Well, this is always a market that, sometimes is slow to respond. And last year,
it's a funky time of year right now, too.
Yeah,
You've got high school football going on.
Yeah.
You've got the Colts going on. There's so much happening right now.
Yeah, and so you look at it. I will say attendance at this part of the year is a little bit lower than it's been in the past. Now, remember, last year basketball is different than football. Football for the Colts, there's eight or nine regular season games, and it becomes an event every
There are
Sunday
events, yep.
or tonight on Thursday. In the NBA, there are 41 home games, so there's a lot. So some people got out of the habit last year of going to games because they couldn't go to games, right? Early in the year, there was no attendance. Late in the year, there was limited attendance. And so a lot of people stayed home, and we think we put a very good product out on television. They watched on television. So I think it's getting the habit of people going back downtown. The other thing I would say is they're probably, it's better now, but there aren't as many people working downtown as there used to be. So there were a lot of people that were working downtown, and then they would stay downtown for the game before going south or north or east or west. So, it's a little bit of a concern. Last year, you had a down year, a disappointing year. You didn't make the playoffs. So there would be people that are here waiting to see, okay, what are you going to do? The prognosis before the year, they were still projected as a possible play-in team, not a playoff team. So there's probably a lot of factors that go into it. I will say that I've been impressed with the crowds that have been there in the noise and the enthusiasm. There was a lot of enthusiasm last night, especially in the win against the Knicks. So I think, as you said, Jim, it will gradually grow, especially as there is sort of less competition. Now, you'll have IU basketball and Purdue basketball and high school basketball and all those kinds of things. But you're right. It's an interesting time of the year. And if you think about it, last year there was no NBA basketball in October or November. You waited until December. So I think it's just getting back into the regular beat of an NBA season, and you have success, people will come. We know that. You win games, people will come.
Plus, like I said, you got football ending up. It's still fall. It's quite winter. I think of basketball. I think of winter and cold, and so you can get inside and all that. But yeah. and the home games they've had has not exactly been against the bigger names of teams as well. So there's been a little bit of that, I think, as well.
Yeah, you'll have no problem. I can tell you that in November and December, you have the Lakers and Golden State in town. You won't have any problem then, right?
No, not at all.
Because as many people want to come, and rightly so. I mean, LeBron James is one of the all-time great players in the NBA. The Lakers have a brand that there are so many fans across the country that watch that team. And then you have Golden State. People fell in love with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. They won 3 titles. So those games are upcoming in November and December. And I would say if you don't have your tickets for that game now, you better go get them because those will go fast.
Pete said he wishes he was in Indy. Some damn good seats right behind you and Quinn. Your broadcast is great to watch. Great job. I'm going to have to get those seats in. But yeah, you mentioned the Lakers. It's not just the Lakers. Then you've got I just missed it. OG will be coming with and the Bucks.
Yeah, you've got Phil. Here's the next home game a week from Saturday, which I think is good. It's not good from a team standpoint, but from a marketing standpoint, the schedule over the next 2 weeks is good because you just have a Saturday game against Philadelphia. And then a Saturday game against New Orleans, which you hoped it would be from a ticket sales standpoint, from a marketing standpoint, it would be Zion Williamson, but he's not yet playing. Then you have, I think you have 3 games on the road, and then you come home for the night before Thanksgiving, the Lakers, the night after Thanksgiving, OG Anunoby in Toronto, and the Sunday, the Colts play at 1 against Tom Brady and the Bucks, and then the Pacers play the Milwaukee Bucks at 5:00. So there will be a lot of people that will do the double.
They'll double dip right there. Baby.
Yeah, they'll go to the Colts game at 1:00, walk from Lucas Oil Stadium over to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That's a heck of a Saturday or a Sunday.
Oh, not many places do you get to do that. I mean, we're talking New York type of situations. Right. That doesn't happen a lot of places.
And when you think about it, downtown is walkable. You can go park your car Sunday morning, go tailgate at the Colts game, walk to Gainbridge Fieldhouse. If you tried to do that in New York, you'd be at Madison Square Garden you'd be battling all the traffic to get out, and you'd have to find your way either to East Rutherford Stadium or back, Giant Stadium. So, sometimes we take things for granted that we have here in Indianapolis. I mean, we saw that with the NCAA tournament last year when the entire tournament was here in Indiana and you were bouncing back and forth between Lucas Oil Stadium and the field house. I mean, we take for granted what we have, but that weekend when you have Lakers on Wednesday, Raptors on Friday, Colts and Bucks on Sunday, Pacers and Bucks on Sunday, I mean, that's a heck of a sports 4 or 5 days.